I was very surprised. It's so amazing. We were just talking about, Mike McCarthy and where he has to go. You do know this guy in 2019 had the Tennessee Titans in a conference championship game. That was not too long ago. I think in 2021 he won Coach of the Year. That was not too long ago. And you guys knew what Tennessee was prior to him getting there. He brought such great discipline. Every time they showed up on the field, I know they've had back-to-back losing seasons. Things didn't work out there. But those back-to-back seasons coincide with you taking away his main man and sending him to Philadelphia also, that I know he did not want to happen, in Arthur Warren Brown. So now you start saying, right, you're taking those assets away and you're leaving them with, he had a great running back in Derrick Henry, but an okay quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then you got A.J. Brown, who went up and made plays with Ryan Tannehill. Didn't have to be perfect when you give him away. Now you don't have that. Trayvon Burks didn't work out quite like they wanted him to do in replacing Arthur Warren Brown, and things went south. Go and find him another big-time receiver. Let him help you find him another big-time receiver. But there's no way I'm letting Mike Vrabel get away. There's not one time that you saw them on a football field where they were unprepared or not ready to play. And, Skip, that's what you start talking about when you start talking about a disciplined coach. Now, I can only cook with the recipe and the ingredients you give me since we're working together. But anytime you give him anything, he's cooked a pretty good meal. I was shocked they let Mike Vrabel go. Mm.
And I was more shocked at the comments from the owner after.
Yeah.
And that was what was most concerning to me, because she said, I wasn't willing to wait in the back of the line for the right head coach. I wasn't willing. That's why they weren't willing to trade Mike Vrabel, but they weren't going forward with him at all. And that was really odd to me, because it's one of those situations where you feel like the grass is greener on the other side, and I guarantee you it's likely not.
Yeah.
If you take away a team's best player, like you did with A.J. Brown, they're going to be a worse team. And you didn't let the head coach have any say-so in that, and it's because you didn't want to pay him max money. He was a max receiver. That's all you got to pay for what you get. That changed the dynamic of the entire team. That changed the structure of the entire offense. Treylon Burks wasn't who you thought he was. So now you're punishing the head coach. You bring in a new general manager in Rand Carthen, who came from San Francisco, who's been really good and is going to be really good. But it seemed like he and Braves didn't see eye to eye on things, which is a weird dynamic between a GM and head coach when, they're not married step in step and one's hired after the other, or vice versa. But I think this is the wrong call.
Man, I can't tell you how much I agree. I can't tell you how shocked I was about this. And to Richard's point, I will amplify, because Amy Adams Strunk also said in the statement that she released, and I quote, "As the NFL continues to innovate and evolve, I believe the team's best position for sustained success will be those who empower an aligned and collaborative team across all football functions." Collaborative team. She wanted Vrabel to be a team player, as in just one of the hierarchy and the decision makers on equal footing with her, and obviously, as Richard pointed out, Rand Carthon, and all the other people in the front office. And Vrabel, obviously, old school, chip off the Belichick block. He didn't coach for him, but played for him, obviously. He's his own guy. And you want to talk about 10 toes down. His 10 toes are always down. And I don't know how much he actually clashed with Rand, but it sounded like there was some sort of power struggle internally, and that Amy Adams Strunk chose Rand Carthon over Mike Vrabel. That's what it sounds like to me. She said, he doesn't want to be a team player. I'm going with Rand and the group that I have in place, and we'll fix this on the fly post Mike Vrabel, which was, I think it's absolutely the wrong decision.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Decision. Here again, we're talking about suits and uniforms. I don't know why they feel like they have to make a decision on what goes down on a football field. I mean, you don't even spend much time coming in the locker room. When you have a team that was set up, think about this, guys, with Derrick Henry, that beast at running back. And every time you try to come and stack the line of scrimmage to stop that, you had A.J. Brown, a beast at wide receiver, go up and get anything, anywhere, to make all the mistakes don't look like mistakes that Ryan Tannehill will make. And you don't get to understand that no matter what, I'm never separating these two. These two will play together. With those two, I can put just about anybody back at quarterback. All you got to do is be able to just don't throw interceptions. But these two gives you an opportunity. And somehow some people wearing suits decided to break that up. That you disqualified yourself from making any more decisions when you decided to break up that right there. So just get out of the way. Stop talking about a unified standing on making decisions. You disqualified yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and that's why they fired the GM, Irv. That's why they fired the GM, but that's not Vrabel's fault. He has to sit there and try to make something happen with the ingredients that he has left, and you're not giving him great ingredients. Treylon Burks, you spent the first rounder on him, wasn't what he deserves more years just because of that. You're making these decisions, and he has to live with them.
Okay, let's fast forward. We have no idea yet what Bill Belichick's fate will be in New England, but let's just say he's elsewhere next year. Do you think that Robert Kraft would jump on Mike Vrabel? That's the first question. And the second question, Michael, is do you think Vrabel would want to coach in New England with what's not left in that cupboard?
Yeah, and that's the whole world. That's the whole thing about it, man. That's probably the worst job available.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we start talking about it's not even available right now. But if it becomes available, it's probably the worst job. But this is what's funny about that. Because now I feel if they're letting Mike Vrabel go, they're probably going to let Derrick Henry move on too, I would imagine. I don't know. I'm just assuming if Derrick Henry probably wants to follow Mike Vrabel if he can, you know. So here's this. And I don't know if Vrabel wants to do it, but they will give him the leeway he needs in the time he needs. I would, if I'm Vrabel, I'm going to get me a long-term contract. I know you're my boy, Mr. Crab, but I'm going to need some long-term to work this thing out. But it will work in this way. Right. Vrabel's about running the football and playing great defense. And I know you don't have the right quarterback in New England yet, and he'll still be in the same situation he was in Tennessee, but it's New England. You're not going to go find one of these Mike McDaniel type to come in and bring this air-flying offense in New England. It's not going to happen in New England anyway because you're going to have a lot of bad weather games. And if things are going great, you're going to have home games in the playoff that are bad weather games. So you're going to build your team still around running the football and playing great defense, which is his specialty, but he has to find him a quarterback to make the plays when they are there. I don't need the guy throwing the ball all over the field. I just need the guy not making the mistakes and making the plays when they are there. Yeah, Vrabel can win in New England with that formula.
Yeah, I think whatever situation he walks into, I think he would because he would walk into New England if given that opportunity, if Belichick walked, just because of the storyline. I think New England, I think Kraft would do it. He's a homegrown talent. He's a coach that kind of fits that mold of coaching. But I would assume this time he's going to tell them, I need power over my roster. I need to pick the guys on my roster. I need to know and have say-so when guys are going to depart from my roster. I don't want you trading guys from up under me, and then I have to just make the most out of what I got. I want to make that decision. I want to have that power. So, like Irv said, it would be the worst job of any job out there. And I don't see a lot of coaches that are going to be chomping at the bit to go to New England and coach, but I think Braves fits the bill.
Although Belichick's downfall was obviously, yeah, go ahead, Michael. Yeah.
Right. Well, I want to clear something. When I say when I talk about people wearing suits not being able to handle or know what's going on in the field, it's not that you don't know football. you don't know the importance or the understanding of that locker room. You don't know, like A.J. Brown, what he meant in the locker room, and you're looking at numbers. You're looking at numbers and saying, well, we can handle these numbers, we can handle these numbers. I'm telling you sometimes, I can go in the locker room and say, we can't do it without that guy right there. We can't do it without that guy. And Vrabel's saying you can't take those guys out of the locker room and expect the same results. And that's what you did to me. That's what they did to him.
Right. They took a very important piece out of it. And to your point, they didn't calculate how important he was. They thought it was plug and play. And sometimes, again, people get caught up in the X's and O's. And we talk about everything that happened in Seattle when we lost our secondary and everything fell apart. It was because people thought it was the X's and O's, and it was really the Jimmies and Joes.
Yeah.
And with A.J. Brown, it wasn't just, hey, find a guy his size, his build, around his speed, and he's going to be able to do about the same thing.
Right.
It's a special guy that's making this happen.
Right. And I was speaking to that. Before every game, Emmett and I walked out. I was 8'8", he was 22. The last thing we did before we touched the field, we would hit our heart. Boom, boom. We double trouble, baby. Now, we grew this together. We grew it together. You can go find a receiver that's better than me, faster, quicker, whatever you want. But you're not going to have that connection. So he's not going to, before they hit the field, hit me and you, buddy, me and you. I'm sure that's what they were doing. That's what I'm talking about. You people in suits just don't get. And when you break that up, you crumble. It's like ripping a piece of paper. It's like, you know how hard it is to put this back together after I rip it? That's why keep your decisions. Man, just stay out of the locker room. Let the people in the locker room tell you what's important in the locker room. I can't tell you how important that is.
So all I know about this is it's very rare when a coach of Mike Vrabel's magnitude with his track record hits the open market. It just doesn't happen very often. And somebody's going to hit the lottery with him. Again, he'll have to make the choice where he thinks the best fit is for him. But, Michael, for our sake in the NFC East, the team that scares me the most right now with the most brain power at the top is now Josh Harris running the Commanders. There's smart there. There's know-how there. There's a new direction and a new command there. I don't love what's left in the locker room because they still don't have a quarterback.
Now, in Washington, the guy wearing the suit really understand what's going on with the people wearing the uniform, so there could be harmony there. See, Magic understands more than anybody.
Yeah.
Don't trust me. Magic understands more than anybody about how to lead men, how to put it together. I don't know. I told you guys this story. You know, when I first got in the league, one of my first days in Dallas, I got into this big argument with Ron Harper. You know, we were out, got into this big argument with Ron Harper. The first training camp I go to in Thousand Oaks, California, Magic Johnson was having his training camp right there with the Dallas Cowboys. Do you know Magic heard about this little fallout me and Ron Harper had, and he called us in his office. He brought Ron Harper, 2000 Oaks. He called me in his office, and he sat us down as rookies. I was a rookie. He was like, listen, we ain't going to have any of this.
Wow.
We're not going to have any of this crossing sports. I was like, whoa, where this joker coming from? I was a young buck sitting in there. But it told me a whole lot about what Magic Johnson is. Ron Harper and I, right now to this day, the best of friends. We talk to each other, we see each other, we'll hug each other, all because of what Magic did. Magic understands the importance of that locker room. You're right. That worries me. I don't know why we're having this conversation. Let's change this conversation before they listen to us, Skip.
So,
and Vrabel be in Washington.
Michael, can you
Let's just stop this right now.
Can you even give us a little hint? What was the beef with Ron Harper?
I'm young and crazy. I just got into Dallas, and I walked in this place, this little club, and they were all set up. And you know, I walked in like the new man, the new sheriff's in town now. So they didn't necessarily like it. Okay. I told them, I don't care what they like. All they have is time. As soon as I get my time, I'm going to get my money in my ring, and that I did.
You did times three. Yes, you did. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.